Hello, everyone, and welcome to my den. It's your favorite cyber new type, Jared the Greek, here with another Gundam review. This time, we're talking about Mobile Suit Gundam, Cucuruz, Doan's Island. This was the movie based off a filler episode that got cut because of how bad the animation was. And honestly, it's definitely a unique experience. Let's get started. First off, we have the main story. This takes a little bit of a different route than the original episode, unlike the TV show episode, where, if I recall, the White Base is just on patrol heading towards a specific destination, and Amuro ends up crash landing on this island and stumbling into all the characters. We instead have them being ordered to check out a specific location by the brass. And when they go there, it's not just Amuro, it is now Amuro and Kai, and they suddenly get jumped by an unknown enemy. Amuro is lost, Kai retreats, everything goes bad. We then, of course, have the White Base being told, oh, you're being transferred over to another group, so get moving. And like, we have a man left behind, we need to go rescue him. Like, no, don't worry about that guy. Which is kind of crazy, because it's Amuro and the Gundam. It seems like those are kind of valuable assets to have. And their excuse is, oh, we got the gems. Don't worry about it. We don't need the Gundam. You need the Gundam. Those gems aren't great. Although the ground type gem actually is a pretty effective unit. That's a whole nother conversation for a whole nother time. From there, we're kind of following a similar kind of course to the original episode, with Amuro meeting Cucuruz Doan and meeting the kids. Instead of, I think, 2 or 3 kids in the original episode, it's like 8 or 9 kids now, and a goat. There's a lot more going on there in terms of the interactions, and Amuro trying to like earn the trust of the kids, and trying to figure out what Doan's real purpose actually is, while also trying to find out what the heck happened to the Gundam, where is it, why did he hide it, how do I get out of here? Meanwhile, there's a plot by Makuve to launch nukes against the Federation, and in the process, he ends up sending his soldiers to Doan's Island because there is a base there that has lost contact. So now we have Amuro trapped on the island with Doan's old squad coming, looking to mess people up, and the White Base needing to do the rescue operation, leading to a huge battle at the end, and I'm not really going to spoil anything past that point, even though I've kind of spoiled a fair chunk of the movie. But if you've seen the episode, you have a general idea of what the plot of the movie is. It doesn't change the episode by any kind of extreme. It instead gives more reason for why they're on the island, why they're fighting there, what they're fighting for, while still keeping some of the themes and ideas of the original episode, without having any of the stupid memes that make that episode so infamous. As for the characters, we do have, of course, the White Base team: Amuro, Kai, Hayato, Jobjon, Sayla, and of course, special guest star Slugger Law, who in the original episode wasn't part of the team yet. All the members of the White Base team are very much in character. Amuro feels like Amuro. It doesn't feel like there's been a change and suddenly we get a very different Amuro. No, it's the same stressed out guy, same PTSD issues, same badass in the mobile suit, but still occasionally making mistakes. Kai seems a little more heroic than I think he would have been at that time period, but primarily because they haven't made it to Belfast yet, where he really gets his main character swap point of realizing that he does need to fight and become a more heroic character. He's already acting a little bit like that, so, considering that they're going to be going to Belfast next in the story, I guess that's okay, because it's at least leaving a push towards what happens at Belfast and how that changes him as a character. Slugger is so on brand. His first arrival is showing up hungover. He definitely has very rude and boorish ways of approaching people, of talking to them, of saying things, and he's so on brand, and it's great. You even get to see his gym, which is from the Origin manga, and that's awesome in my book because I've always wanted to see that unit in animation, and we finally did. Heck, it even got a GunPla kit. Yay, it sold out immediately. Don't expect a review of that for a long time. Oh boy. Then we have, of course, Cucuruz Doan, who is basically tough guy, nice guy, has some technical skills, generally cares about the kids, and is trying to be a better person. Very similar to how he was portrayed in the original episode. We have a lot of kids. Most of them aren't very annoying. There's one or two that are like, oh, shut up. But for the most part, they're good. You get the rowdy boy who wants to fight alongside Doan. You got the girl who's kind of de facto mother to the group, even though she's probably only 2-3 years older than any of them. You get the silly little kids playing with the goat. It's fine for what it is. It's not like it's anything too deep or exciting, or oh my gosh, I want to see more adventures of these kids. They could have been really annoying and really stupid, and they're not. They're fine for what they are, and they help facilitate several aspects of the story, including maybe a little bit of a crush thing between the girl and Amuro. Hard to say. Not that would ever amount to anything. It's just kind of a cute little thing I noticed, but maybe I'm reading subtext into something that isn't there. As for our side characters, I mean, Makube is very much just kind of a stuck-up jerk, as he usually is. So Makube's Makube. Everyone else, Bright, Sayla, all of them feel like they're those characters. It really feels like they took an episode of the show and just expanded it out. I think overall they did a great job keeping the characters intact. And the new characters, what few there are pretty well done. On the aesthetic side, we have some really good artwork, especially the night battles look really cool and intense, especially the way they make the heat weapons glow and the beam sabers glow. It very much has a cool look to it that is very visually appealing. The mech fights are fairly well done, although honestly, I could have used a few more mech battles. It's a little more intensity than what we actually got, but what we had was pretty good, including one of the most brutal takedowns. That's probably going to have to add on to one of those lists of most brutal Gundam takedowns, I think. The characters have that slightly more modernized look to them, like they did with, like, say, Gundam The Origin, where we're using the characters from the 1979 series, but we're modernizing the designs just a smidge, and they do have that look, and it works perfectly fine in my book. It makes it look modern, but still has that old school classic Gundam feel. As for the mechs, I mean, there's not a lot I can say. The Gundam's the Gundam. The gun tank and gun cannon, they are what they are. The same can be said about Zaku's and Jim's. They all look like what they're supposed to look like, so good work. You did the bare minimum. The uniquely designed members of the Southern Cross Squad, they're there. I mean, they are using their unique weapons and what have you, as they showed in some of the preview artwork, but it's not like you're looking at them going like, oh, whoa, those Zakus look really different. They all still kind of look like your typical Zaku F, with some slight tweaks here and there. Even Doan's unit didn't look, nearly as janky as it did in the original version of this. And I think that's good. It shows that there is repair work that's been done on this machine, and it has been heavily damaged, but it's not, this weirdly proportioned, ugly-looking machine. As for the island and the natural terrain, it all looks really good. You definitely get this sense of the harshness of this island, whether it is the heat and the rough terrain that Amuro's tracking through, whether it is the monsoon storms that keep hitting the island. You definitely get the feel for this is not an easy place to live, and I really do like how it all looks and how it feels. As for the audio, they used some of the classic music, and I was so happy when I heard it. I was just like, yes! Except I was in a theater, and I wasn't going to go and scream out yes, but I was like that, a little moment like that, because I was like, that's the song! So I'm not going to spoil which songs they use in case you're looking forward to watching this, but they do use some of the classic songs, rest assured. There is a little bit of new music here and there, and it does fit in. It feels like it would be part of the original 1979 soundtrack, so I did appreciate that as well. Overall, this reminded me of one of those classic DBZ movies. For anyone who hasn't seen a Dragon Ball Z movie, essentially it is an adventure with all the Dragon Ball characters against some new villain who shows up. They end up getting into a couple fights, and in the end, the heroes win, and it doesn't have any major impact on the overarching story. In fact, the majority of the movies didn't even tie into the main plot, with a couple exceptions. But that being said, it still was a fun adventure with characters you like, some cool action scenes, and some fun moments in comedy. And what you have here is a fun adventure with characters you like, with some good battle scenes, and a few moments of comedy. Would I have preferred them make a new One Year War story, or take one of the adventures from the One Year War that hasn't been animated, like the story of the Thoroughbred, or Gundam Blue Destiny, or say Rise from the Ashes? Yes, of course I would have preferred that, because those are stories that haven't been animated, and to see them in a high quality, beautiful HD version to help expand the universe and the story of the One Year War would have been excellent. But you know what? Sometimes just having a filler adventure with characters you like, some decent action, sometimes that's all you want. Sometimes you just need a grilled cheese sandwich. That's kind of what this was. It's anything special. It doesn't make you feel, oh my gosh, a grilled cheese sandwich. But you're like, you know what? That was pretty tasty. And that's kind of how I feel with it. So I guess if I have to say something in terms of a review, I definitely recommend the movie for Gundam fans. It doesn't require having seen the original TV series, though if you've seen that, obviously you can just figure out where to slot it in as well. If you're bringing a newbie to it, you're going to have to explain to them who a few characters are, but there's not a lot of major continuity. As long as they have a general idea of who is on the white base and what the one-year war is, they can probably piece the rest together on their own. It still feels weird to me that Slager's there because in the original story, he wasn't part of the team yet. So I was kept trying to figure out, okay, did Slager join earlier in this continuity? Where did he join? How long has he had his gym? You know, what's his role in the group at this point in the story? And I'm just kind of at that position of like just trying to figure those things out. I know I should just let it slide. Like I said, it's a DBZ movie. Wait, shouldn't Goku be in space right now? Why is he here? And just, whatever, just roll with it, have fun. It's kind of the way to look at it sometimes. I do like seeing Doan like take out the members of his squad, but he takes them out a little too easily. It almost feels like Doan is just insanely overpowered. And even if he's a really good melee combat specialist, I still feel like he should have had more trouble in those fights than he actually did. Amuro doesn't get to really fight much. It's kind of a downer, but he does get a cool moment at the end to be the hero. I love the additions of this is a missile base, and that's why this island is important, instead of being a random island where the Federation and Zeon just happen to be fighting. Like, it actually serving a purpose is nice. In addition to that, Doan doesn't really go into why he's there and staying with the kids. It is all implied via a flashback and some subtlety amongst the character dialogues and behaviors. And I really like that instead of hammering home, I'm here because I killed their parents and I feel guilty. It is just, you pick up what's going on and how he's become this like surrogate father to these kids. And I really like that because instead of trying to say, hey, dumb audience, this is what's going on, you actually have to piece it together yourself, like an adult. Oh my gosh, what a concept. Like I said, it's nothing too deep or anything like that. Don't expect some huge, deep, overarching, the metaphor for this is no. The allegory for this is no. It's just a fun adventure with a very simple message and some subtlety in the writing alongside some more slapstick stuff for the audience to get a couple cheap laughs here and there. I will be adding this to my collection, not only because it's a Gundam thing, and apparently I'm one of those weirdos who has to own everything Gundam except for the stuff I hate. This could be something fun to just throw on in the background while I'm building a GunPla kit, or, you know, just needing to have some comfort media. I definitely do recommend this. I had a lot of fun. I actually really enjoyed it. And I was like, man, remember when movies were fun? I think it was one of the things I said upon leaving the theater, because I forgot that like action adventure movies can actually be fun and make you feel good afterwards, as opposed to now where everything is just miserable or boring. The exception of Top Gun, that was pretty sweet. Other than that, you know, a lot of action movies on, say, the Marvel, Star Wars, DC side haven't really made me feel good coming out of the theaters. So if you have seen the movie, please let me know in the comments what you thought of it. Please like and subscribe. I'm going to be doing more Gundam-related content in the future. Until next time, thank you for watching, and I'll see you at the tavern.